Investment advisory services offered through SWAN-Capital Management, LLC, a SEC-registered investment advisor. SWAN-Capital Management, LLC, and SWAN-Capital are independent entities.
What your money would say. Andrew McNair. Money Talks. Are you listening? Money Talks. Are you listening? Money Talks. Are you listening? What your money would say with Andrew McNair.
We're live here on What Your Money Would Say. I'm your host, Andrew McNair, and for the next 30 minutes every Saturday from 12:30 to 1 o'clock here on WCOA 1370, I will be your retirement resource. My goal and my passion when I started SWAN-Capital, my wealth management firm, was to help retirees sleep well at night. You know, you've worked your entire life to get to this point, to save for retirement, to make sure your kids have enough to go through college, and even, spare a little bit for charities. But when you get to this point, it seems like so many families are unsettled about retirement. And my goal is to help give you that peace of mind in retirement by kind of pulling back the onion on retirement planning and estate planning. And today I'm very excited about talking about a topic that's little discussed in our society. And that is that a lot of families rely on their spouse when it comes to financial affairs. And guys, when they pass away, it's an emotional train wreck. But when you throw in financial worries and financial problems, it can become a nightmare. And we're going to bring on Kristen Marks, My Pink Lawyer, and help women become that financially savvy woman so they don't have to rely on a spouse when it comes to their financial affairs. But before I do that, I want to share with you some upcoming events we have here at SWAN-Capital. The first one is our Social Security class, which is held at UWF. And we have an October class and a November class. And the tuition should be around $35. And I want to give you those dates. So if you have a pen and a paper, the first date is October 8th and October 10th. It's a two-part, 1-hour class. And what we're going to do there is share with you how Social Security began, how it's going to go forward. We don't have a crystal ball, but I'm going to give you some stats and some really good information that you need to know about the future of Social Security. We're also going to talk about when to take Social Security. Do you take it at 62, 66, or age 70? Or how do you maximize benefits? If that's one of your only incomes out there, how do you maximize and squeeze out the max out of Social Security? That's what we're going to cover in our Social Security benefit class. Also, we have a couple of veterans benefits workshops here locally. We have one at Westminster Village on the 7th of August at 12 o'clock, and that's RSVP only. So you want to make sure that you go into SWAN-Capital.com to sign up for our Social Security class and our Veterans Benefits Workshop. We also have one at Homestead Village on the day before at August 6th at 6 o'clock at night. And then we have one at the Blake in Gulf Breeze in September. And you don't want to miss these workshops because we're going to share with families how to earn up to $24,000 a year if you're a wartime veteran and get to pay for assisted living, nursing home expenses, and even sitter expenses to come in the house and take care of you when you either age yourself or have aging parents. So you don't want to miss those workshops. And while you're there, sign up for our weekly newsletter so you can stay involved with the market. Now, I want to, again, share with you how excited I am to bring on Kristen Marks. She is an estate planner at My Pink Lawyer, and she's going to share with you how to become a savvy woman. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
Well, as you know, today's theme is the financially savvy woman, and I think it's an appropriate topic because countless families out there, countless widows have been coming into my office, and they're in completely disarray. They have a laundry list of issues, and not only is it an emotional time for them, they have to deal with all these retirement and estate planning issues that they've never had to, or especially never had to do alone. And so it's a troubling time, and I've been looking forward to bringing you on and sharing with us your experience, your stories, your expertise, and helping a woman out there become that financially savvy woman. So if you'll start us off and share with us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Well, my name is Kristen Marks, and I own a law practice in town. It's called My Pink Lawyer. We've been in business with My Pink Lawyer for 5 years now, although I'm a little older than that. I graduated in 1995 from University of Alabama Law School. Came down to Pensacola and started practicing with a small firm downtown doing estate planning, probate, guardianship work.
University of Alabama, huh?
Yeah,
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Gotcha. And then after 7 years of that, building, helping to build that business, took a hiatus. My kids were just born, very young, and I built a completely different business altogether, and that was for 6 years.
That's the most rewarding job, is being a mom.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, it was. It was that in conjunction with building another business, mentoring and coaching women.
Was it Mary? You did Mary Kay, too.
I did.
You got a diverse background.
Yeah. So I was a sales director with Mary Kay for 6 years, and then 5 years ago, I decided, you know what, I really did love practicing law, but having worked for myself for 6 years, I realized, you know what, I really would love to continue working for myself. So
exactly.
That's how I started my Pink Lawyer, decided to go out on my own and combine the best of both worlds. What I love doing with the practice of law with building the business and picking and choosing who I really wanted to cater to.
Sure, specializing, which is good for you and good for the client, too.
Absolutely. And so that's really, very few people know that, where my name came from, My Pink Lawyer, unless they read the bio on my website. Because usually when people ask me, I just say the quick and easy answer is, well, I work with mostly women in my practice, which is true. Mm-hmm. But the name really derived from transitioning from Mary Kay and having driven a pink Cadillac, transitioning into my own law practice. And I just thought it was just a fun name to kind of bridge the gap, let the Mary Kay world know what I was doing with my law practice.
Absolutely.
And the name stuck.
I love
Andrew, you're in business, so you understand. You don't care really if people remember your name, Andrew McNair. It's just where to find you, and you're the go-to guy for financial.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, and I like the pink part because that's who you specialize to, not only, just like mine, SWAN-Capital, sleep well at night. Yes. So we put a little bit of thought into it. But how'd you come to specialize in women?
Well, I mean, it was kind of natural. I'm a woman, too.
You know their issues, huh?
I feel like I can relate to other women. And I did. I spent 6 years really mentoring women. And I know, being a lawyer and being a woman myself, a lot of women are intimidated by going to a lawyer or an attorney and having to talk about
how much are they going to charge me per hour?
Yeah, and are they going to talk down to me? And I'm
over my head.
Stupid. I'm not going to know what questions to ask, and I just don't want to feel uncomfortable. So I really wanted to break down those barriers. Hey, there is no silly question. Really, you come to me, I'm talking to you just like this, sitting in my office, and you ask me questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability. If I can't answer them, I'll either find you the answer or I will find you somebody who can. Really, what we try to do at My Pink Lawyer is go above and beyond. Instead of just saying, I'm sorry, we don't do that, find someone else.
Right.
If you call my office and it's a legal question and it's not within the parameters of what we really specialize in, then I do make sure that I plug you in with someone who I know specializes in that area.
Now, one of your specializations is estate planning. And why is that so important for women?
Well, estate planning is important for everybody.
Sure.
But a lot of women put it off because you do need to go see an attorney to get it done. I'm sure we'll talk about do-it-yourself estate planning down the road, maybe in a
legal
Zoom.
Yes,
something like that. But it is important for everyone, and particularly women, to get their estate planning affairs in order. And statistically, Andrew, 65% of Americans do not have any written estate plan in place.
Wow. And
as women, we are, I think, hardwired to always provide for everyone else in our life before we think about ourselves. What's ironic is that your estate planning is the best thing you can do for those loved ones in your life.
Absolutely.
Because
it's about your legacy.
It is.
Your kids.
The planning that we do, pieces of it are for you, like the healthcare component of the thing, but the biggest component of it really benefits your loved ones when you are no longer here to care for them yourself. You have said in advance, this is how I want to provide for you when I am no longer here.
You brought up a good point. Is a lot of times, laying that out for the families, because a lot of times I deal with the kids a lot of times, and it's too late. Now I have to assume what their mom wanted to happen.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Exactly.
Now,
Or it just is what it is. From my perspective, a legal perspective, someone dies, they don't have a will. The way their affairs are set up, it's too late to change it. It is what it is. It doesn't matter if, Johnny Jr. was estranged from the family for 40 years and, mom and dad did not want him in our business anymore. Well, it's too late. I'm sorry.
it's already happened. Yep.
They didn't say otherwise in a written document. So he's going to be included.
Now, speaking about written documents, when most families think about estate planning, they think about, it's just a bunch of legal documents I have to fill out. Is it more than that?
It is. That's certainly a component of it. But I tell folks at my workshops that think of your estate planning like a puzzle. And I know your financial planning, you think the same way as I do, Andrew. But with estate planning, there's a lot of different pieces that we try to pull together to make sure that what you want to see happen when you're no longer here actually happens. Things like, who are the beneficiaries on your life insurance,
Absolutely,
your retirement plans, and your annuities? How do you own your property? Is it just in your name? Do you own it jointly with the spouse? Do you own it jointly with a child or with somebody else? Mm-hmm. What are you worth? Do we need to worry about estate taxes?
Sure.
And who do you want making decisions for you if you are incompetent to make them for yourself down the road? Who do you want making your medical decisions if you're not in a position to do so? Who do you want raising your kids? If you have minor kids or disabled kids.
And the minor kids, a lot of times families will put their kids as heirs, and a lot of times they're too young to accept such a big gift like that.
Right. You probably see this all the time. Okay, I'm going to name my spouse as primary beneficiary, and I'm going to name my 4- and 6-year-old kids as contingent beneficiaries. Okay, let's see how that works. If they're still minors,
it's going to be a nightmare.
Trust me, it's not going to be pretty.
Exactly.
So, there are a lot of those pieces that we try to pull together when people come to me for their estate planning. And that's why I always ask them, once I get the picture of what they own, how they own it, what it's worth, who beneficiary designations are, then I ask them, okay, Andrew, $1 million question here. What do you want to see happen when you are no longer here?
What an important question.
Just talk to me. Tell me, don't get into specifics of I want this policy to go here, just in general.
I'm sure that's not hard for them to talk to you. They probably lay it out.
I don't know. Well, sometimes I think for some clients, they are so private. They don't understand why I'm asking them, where do you bank? How do you own that account? What's the value of that?
But it's very important because, again, if you don't do that, then it just becomes a bunch of legal documents that we're filling out that they're boilerplate to begin with. But the key to have a really good professional is someone to help you build a comprehensive plan that meets all the aspects of the answer to that important question is what do you want to happen after you pass away?
And all of those pieces have to fit together because a lot of people think, okay, if I take the time and I sign a will, this is going to dictate everything. Not necessarily.
It's not all encompassing.
It's not, because they forget that the beneficiaries that they have named on policies and retirement plans trump the will.
Absolutely.
The will
highest law in the land.
Control that. And how they own their property. If they own it jointly with someone with the right of survivorship, well, that passes outside of probate. And this is another misnomer that, well, you haven't even asked me this, so I won't even talk about
I'm sure we'll get
to it. But anyway.
Now, about those puzzle pieces, what are some, maybe 4 or big puzzle pieces that women out there should know about? Of course, we can't cover it all on a radio show, so that's why they need to come see you, or SWAN-Capital or My Pink Lawyer to help make sure that those pieces together.
See both,
because again, that's a great lead in is most families see an attorney, they see an insurance person, they see an investment person, but they don't have a plan that works together with all of them to bring it all together.
Right.
So that's where I apply for head coach for my families. But back to those puzzle pieces, what are those basic puzzle pieces you think families should have?
Well, and some of these you don't even need an attorney to do. Okay, so it's not going to cost you any money, but it will cost you a little bit of time doing your research. Number one is, and I put this on everyone's homework list when they come to see me.
I like homework. Keep us accountable.
I know. Maybe I'm a wannabe teacher or something, but I always write out little homework lists. In the course of our conversations, if a client doesn't know the answer to something, it goes on their homework list to look it up. But one of the things is Confirm who the primary and contingent beneficiaries are on all of your life insurance and retirement plans. And if you've got a lot of little policies floating all over the place, it can take a bit of time. But you need to know what you're looking at.
You don't want to go to your ex-spouse and all that funny
And
stuff.
you would be surprised how often I see that when I give that homework and someone, I'd say 1 out of 10 people come back and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I looked. I had no idea my ex-husband was still the beneficiary of that policy that I forgot about, of that employer that I haven't worked for 20 years.
So you're hearing that, guys. If you're out there driving, you need to stop and put that as one of those things you need to look at.
Yep. So that's really important. Double check titling of your assets. A lot of people come to me and say, oh, yeah, we own our home. Well, how do you own it? Oh, we own it together, husband and wife. Well, I always double check. I pull the deeds. Escambia and Santa Rosa County are great because most deeds are, all deeds are public records. It's just a matter of how easily you can track them down.
Right, how tech-savvy the county is.
Exactly. And the county is. Some counties in Florida are not real tech, but Escambia and Santa Rosa County are really good. So you can look them up online and actually pull the deed, and I print them out. And so oftentimes, couples, they may think, oh, we own it jointly, but they forget that husband owned this piece of land before they got married, and then they built on it. Well, the mortgage may be in both of their names, but the land and now this new house that's on it is still just in the husband's name. So what happens? Well, the wife's still going to have a right to the house under Florida law, unless she's otherwise waived her interest, but we're going to have to jump through some legal hoops to get her name on it, and it's going to cost her money unnecessarily. So it's important to know that. Also, just other pieces of property, not even just your homestead, knowing how you own them. Sometimes you may think, oh, we own it together, so we don't need to do anything. Well, maybe you guys took title when you were boyfriend, girlfriend, so you only own it as co-tenants in common, which means you each only own a 50% interest in it. So you still need to probate the deceased owner's share when one of you passes away. So it's just those little housekeeping things.
Again, you could do it by yourself, but if you don't have an expert, it can become a problem, and you might skip over things.
Right.
So if you're coming in late, right now I have Kristen Marks here on What Your Money Would Say, and we're making the case on why you need to see some professionals on becoming that financially savvy woman. And it takes preparation to make sure that you're prepared and you've done the fire drill. So God forbid, if that ever happened to you, you became a widow, you're prepared for that situation. Now, Kristen, I think that was the second or the third thing.
Let's see. I think that was the second one. What's a third one that I always ask about? Well, we talked about titling of assets, beneficiary designations. The next one, again, doesn't cost you any money, but it will save your family a lot of heartache. You'll take you a little bit of time, most likely, but get organized. Get your financial records organized.
So important for retirement planning or estate planning.
Now, if you're married, it's been my experience talking to a lot of married folks that one person in that marriage takes the lead on all the financial end of things.
So true. I say it all the time.
Paying the bills, balancing the checkbook, that type of thing. Well, if that's the person that's gone first, the other spouse is completely left floundering. Andrew, I had a widow come in and see me a couple years ago, and her husband had been diagnosed with dementia, not in a position to handle any of the finances any longer. And she really was at a loss. She was not mentally, emotionally at the point of doing her own estate planning. She just really needed someone to help her figure out what was what. Is that within my job description? Well, not typically within the estate planning lawyer's job description, but it is within my job description because I wanted to help her out. So she just brought me in. I said, go home to his office with a box, and I just want you to pack all of the papers in there, and you bring them back to me, and we will sort through them. And we sorted through them, and we organized them. I said, now, he was a pack rat. This stuff can go. This stuff can be shredded.
We collect a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, all of us. We collect the stuff over the years.
But this is what it looks like. This looks like what your bills are, what you own, where everything is. But if you can do that for your family now, even, I just did it recently. I reorganized things because I'm like an organizational junkie. So
we have to. We're almost professional organizers.
Exactly. So, hey, I do the whole paperless thing at the office. I try to do it at home, but I'm still old-fashioned at heart. Maybe I'm showing my age here, but I just took a big 3-ring binder notebook. I actually needed a couple. And in one, I have my tabs. These are all of our investments, bank accounts, credit cards, that type of thing. And then in the other one, this was like all the other random stuff that you feel like you need to keep the paper for. And my husband knows where those notebooks are.
That's
now,
fabulous.
He does not want to look at them now. He could care less. But if something happens to me, he knows
where to go.
That's where he needs to go to get started, and where passwords are. Because all that we tend to just keep in our head.
Right.
And if you don't document it.
And again, one spouse, as you brought it up, usually handles the finances. And I see that a lot of times. I don't know if it's more men or more women, but the problem is again, if your spouse passes away, you might not be prepared for that time. So you're going through an emotional stage, and you got all these retirement estate plans problems complicate the issue. And it doesn't have to. So again, if you're listening out there to What Your Money Would Say, we're having Kristen Marks from My Pink Lawyer talking about how to become a financially savvy woman. Kristen, if some of these questions that you've asked pique the interest of listeners out there, how can they get best in contact with you?
Sure. Well, I always tell folks, if you are internet savvy, computer savvy, you can hop on my website, because that's a way you can stalk me and see what I
we
look
call that
like.
follow me, right? In 2013, you follow me.
Well, follow, stalk, whatever.
Something.
I tell folks, you know what, just go check it out there, because then you can, number one, you have a face to go with the voice.
Sure.
You can
That's
read
important.
a little bit about me. You can read what I do and see if you like the way I approach the estate planning practice, because I think it is very different from the way people,
They think.
their expectation.
It doesn't seem this fun. It can't be this fun.
Exactly. So, and it's not for everybody. Trust me. I've had people say, I don't get that, my pink lawyer thing, whatever. I'm like, well, you're probably not my client.
And that's okay. We're not a good fit
And
for
that's
everybody.
okay. Because there are plenty of great people out there that I know that you will connect with.
Right.
But the ones that do find their way to me, we hit it off. And we do. We have lifelong friendships and relationships. And
Not clients, friendships.
and I love that clients, even after we finish their planning, of course, we're reaching out periodically to make sure everything's up to date and what's going on in their lives. But I love
You're
that-
saying you just don't set the plan and force and never
Yep,
talk
you
about
never-
it again?
you never
Just
hear
put
from me
dust
again.
on it?
But I love that clients feel comfortable if they have another legal issue. And they call me up and they say, Kristen, I know you don't do this, but I really just don't even know where to turn. Can we just bounce some ideas off of each other? And we can do that. And
What a
then I
great
can-
testimony.
Yeah.
So we know we can check
good.
you out on the website.
mypinklawyer.com. I have lots of free resources on there. I have free planning guides that you can download for free.
MyPinkLawyer.com.
mypinklawyer.com. You can also call our office.
And what's that phone number?
Yep, area code 850-439-1191. And there's also a place on my website that you can reach out to me that'll shoot me an email. Contact me. I'll input your question. It shoots me an email, and I can get back to you. So I'm big on email as well.
Great. That's a great resource for people listening out there.
It's a little less intimidating because some people just are not phone people, or they think, oh, I'm going to get some hard sell if I call in there. No, you won't, but start with the website if you're more comfortable that way too.
And also schedule a free consultation
Yep.
by calling the phone number. What's the phone number one more time?
850-439-1191.
Well, you've heard it here. Becoming the financially savvy woman, she's posed a lot of questions that we need to look at as families. Now, again, some of those can be intimidating because there's a lot of things that we miss, and you need a head coach to look over your retirement planning, your estate planning, and bring it together. But if you want to get in contact with Kristen, give our office a call or give her office a call, and we'd be glad to help. But thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
What your money would say. Today's financial landscape can be rough. One of the most important aspects of planning is choosing the right guide to help you navigate the road to retirement. Andrew McNair and the team at SWAN-Capital is dedicated to providing the very best service in the retirement planning industry today. SWAN-Capital is a full-service independent wealth management firm dedicated to providing guaranteed custom income plans that you cannot outlive. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. The difference between SWAN-Capital and you retire once. We help people retire every day. You should be enjoying your retirement years, not letting worry keep you up at night. SWAN-Capital. Sleep well at night. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. Again, that's 850-380-9558.
The Veteran Benefit Project, founded by Andrew McNair, president of SWAN-Capital, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping veterans and widows of veterans with long-term care expenses by qualifying for the VA's Aid and Attendance Benefit. Learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA towards long-term health care. There is absolutely no fee associated with our assistance to the veteran, the widow of a veteran, their families, or any retirement community. Our goal is to preserve the dignity of the veteran and to reduce the dependency on the Medicaid system. Again, learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA. Contact the Veteran Benefit Project 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137. 850-380-5137. Look us up on the web, veteranbenefitproject.com. At the Veteran Benefit Project, we are committed to helping you secure the benefits you deserve.
Retirement expert Andrew McNair. Changing the retirement paradigm. Now back to what your money would say. Brought to you by SWAN-Capital.
Welcome back to What Your Money Would Say. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Kristen Marks from My Pink Lawyer. Remember, we're live here on What Your Money Would Say. The lines are open, so give us a call at 478-3116. That's 478-3116, and we'll be happy to answer any estate planning or retirement planning questions you have. Now, if you were listening to Kristen Marks and you know the things we talked about, there's a lot of things to remember. There's a lot of things that you have to take care of in your estate plan. And to become that financially savvy woman or man, it can be intimidating. To be honest, when I was, conversating with Kristen, it does sound over, and I do it for a living. If that's you out there, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to become that completely financially savvy woman. You have to rely on experts, though, when the time is needed. And that's why you need a financial coach, and you need an estate planner that will sit down with you and listen to your needs, and not just help you fill out a will or a trust, but that will customize a plan that solves what you want to happen. Kristen Marks said a very important question. Forget the policies, forget your investments, forget your deeds. It all comes down to one question, and that is, what do you want to happen? When you pass, you're going to be in hopefully a better place. But when you pass, you leave your family potentially in a lot of problems if it's not done correctly. And what I tell people is estate planning, retirement planning, especially estate planning, is not something you want to DIY. It's not something you want to do it yourself just to cut costs. I can go onto LegalZoom and do a will for $50 and not, and I'll save $450 from having a professional like Kristen Marks do it. The problem is you save $450, but if you make a mistake on a $100,000 account and it goes to an ex-spouse or it gets hit by probate and you have to pay an attorney to help administrate your probate, you're gone, but you leave your family suffering. And no one wants to do that, especially women out there. You've protected your family and your house for so many years. Let's make sure that your legacy is protected as well. And what we do at SWAN-Capital is we go through a beneficiary review. We sit down and we go through your policies, your trusts, your retirement accounts, and we make sure that it answers that question. What do you want to happen? We make sure that it works with your plan, not someone else's boilerplate template plan, and it wasn't customized to you. So again, if you're not a financially savvy woman or financially savvy man, it's time to take your future in your own hands and go see an expert like Kristen Marks or at SWAN-Capital and make sure that your estate plan is organized. Give us a call at 380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. And we look forward to coming for you to listen in on our next week's show when we bring on Justin Beck from Beck Properties. And we're going to talk about the real estate market. Is it the time to sell? Is it the time to buy? And how can you make sure that real estate is a part of your overall portfolio? You don't want to miss next week's show. See you next time. That was perfect. See you next time. Click.